Jimmy Butler, bottom line, you look at him, you say to yourself, there are so many layers here, Jay. What he's doing in Miami is great. What he could have done in Philly, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, we were talking before we went to break about Joel Embiid sending the note on the tweet saying if as relating to Jimmy Butler. So I'll complete the sentence for you.
Okay.
If I keep waking up in these cold sweats, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I really feel like Joel Embiid wakes up at night saying, is that Jimmy? That's Jimmy again. He's following me everywhere. It's like if you think about what Jimmy Butler brought to that team, he brought the physical toughness. He brought the leadership. Every single team that Jimmy Butler has been added to, look at how much they've lost. Minnesota, look what he brought to the table. Look what they've lost. Philadelphia, look what he brought to the table. Look what they've lost. Now Miami, look what he brings to the table. He's taking this team, putting them on his back, and he's leading a young core of guys that actually follow his lead. Now, the beef that they had in Philly, supposedly, was that Jimmy and Joel were pretty tight, but ultimately it came down to the relationship between Jimmy and Ben Simmons. And Jimmy was trying to hold Ben Simmons accountable for shooting the ball and things of that sort. And he was trying to do things that Brett Brown supposedly hasn't done. And I think Jimmy making that decision to then leave Philly to go to Miami, I think if you're Joel Embiid, you're sitting there watching it saying, damn, we were one shot away from potentially winning a world championship last year. And look where we are now.
So if you were Elton Brand or whoever's running the Philadelphia 76ers at the time, why would you pick the coach over a dominant player and you have reservations about that coach anyway?
Complete the tweet, though, first. If.
What
do you think?
I personally think he's talking about the organization.
Exactly.
That if they get it, if they would have signed him, figured out how to make it work, we could have been in this same position, potentially headed to an Eastern Conference final again. That's what I think.
The big question is, now Elton Brand came out and said, hey, look, we're going to keep this dynamic duo together. Right. We're going to move forward, try to find a new head coach. But if you're Joel Embiid, if you really said if, what you are implying is
what?
If it comes down to Jimmy Butler or Ben Simmons, maybe we should have taken Jimmy Butler.
He's 30 years old. He's in the prime of his career.
I don't know. It leaves open for a ton of speculation, but if it comes down to a decision.
But could see me personally, when it comes time for players like star dudes and a coach that's kind of on the bubble, I'm getting rid of the coach. If the player's gonna resign with me, I can almost get any coach to put that on autopilot if they can coexist. But clearly they couldn't coexist based on the rumors that's out there, and the head coach wasn't stepping in to try to get them to coexist.
So, okay, I take that back. I think you're right. I don't think that ultimately that decision came down to, is it Jimmy Butler or is it Ben Simmons? Maybe if it's Jimmy Butler or Brett Brown. Like you're saying, and that's what your point you're alluding to, saying, look, I'm throwing the kitchen sink at Jimmy Butler to stay. But the problem is, I think, look at the cap. I mean, they paid Tobias Harris a lot of money.
But
you paid a lot. You paid Al Horford a lot of money. I think there are ways within the cap, too. I don't think it could have worked to continue to pay Jimmy.
But don't you figure out how to get – okay,
I agree.
In basketball, a luxury tax for championships is worth it at the end of the day, right? I mean, if you're gonna be pushing up against luxury tax situations, it's worth it. The Golden State Warriors figured out how to pay everybody.
Yeah,
and wanted to pay everybody again.
I don't have all the details in front of me. I was going to try to look them up. I do know that between Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid,
it's $107 million.
It's like 150, 170 around that payroll.
It's unbelievable. Rumors were Joel Embiid was more driven when Jimmy Butler was in Philly. More driven, brought to you by Goodyear. Discover the possibilities. Goodyear, more driven. Quick thought here. We're just talking about this because they knocked off the top-seeded Bucks. But look at it in a vacuum. Forced his way to Chicago, forced his way to Minnesota, forced his way to Philly. If you're the Sixers, can't you just say, bro, yeah, every organization he's been with, it's ended terrible. Let's just get rid of him. Isn't that fair? Just don't take last night's game into account. If you're making the decision in the moment.
But if you're looking at what happened with Cat in Minnesota.
Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah, it's like you ain't really bringing your lunch pail. So at the end of the day, I don't want to. I'm a dude. I want to win. I don't have time.
That's what I'm saying.
For the shenanigans.
Who you committed to, Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons? Because if you're committed to Joel Embiid, you're keeping Jimmy Butler.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.